Hello, my beauties. Come in. Come in. Sit down. Take a breath. You know what I learned? One of the things that I learned about being a teacher, or from being a teacher for almost 8 years, is that we all want to be seen and heard and valued, and that adults are really just grown ass kids. I had a student one year whose name was Peyton, and I'll never forget Peyton. She was autistic. She was on the spectrum. She was, I'd say, 80% nonverbal. And one day, I was sitting at my desk. The students were doing their assignments, and the classroom was quiet because everybody was working. I was working. And Peyton walks up to my desk, and she just kind of stands there. And for anybody who is unfamiliar with the behavior of people who are on the spectrum, their behavior can be what a lot of people classify as uncharacteristic. It can express itself in a lot of different ways. And the thing that I learned mostly about people who are on the spectrum is that give them the freedom to express themselves for as long as you're able before you seek outside help. So anyway, Peyton was a wonderful student, was very funny, turned in her assignments. So she comes up to my desk this day. She just kind of stares at me, and all of a sudden she says, "What happened to your eyebrows?" In the middle of the classroom, while everybody was quiet, she says at the top of her lungs, "What happened to your eyebrows?" And, I really had to stop myself from laughing because it really was just hilarious. This is a 10-year-old child who will just say things. That's one of the good things and the bad things about being a teacher. The children will say whatever is on their mind, literally at whatever time. And I bring up that story because I wanted to talk about the importance today of building resilience. And I actually made a 10-step course, or excuse me, a 10-step guide to ignoring haters, ignoring people around you, understand that most won't understand, and building resilience. So I was bullied. Oh gosh, I was so bullied from maybe the age from the second grade, maybe second or third grade until seventh grade. When I hit seventh grade, I had my ugly duckling swan phase. And all of a sudden I was receiving all this attention from these boys, which I did not understand because last year y'all didn't want nothing to do with me. And this year it's you guys are following me home. It's strange. But I was bullied very harshly. And one bully in particular, one year, he would see me. And I think I was in the fourth or fifth grade. I can't remember. It was Miss Wilkie, so that had to be fifth grade. So he would see me. He wouldn't say anything. He would just point and laugh. And naturally, that would make everybody else around laugh as well. And, let me take you back. So this is the 90s. This is the mid 90s. This is cross colors. This is baggy pants. This is it's so strange how these trends come back and I see them now. And for the things that I got made fun of mercilessly are now trendy. So I see people with the wide frame glasses, the plastic wide frame glasses. I had those, but they were not stylish. When I was younger, they were not stylish. They were a source of contention for me. So this bully would just laugh at me, and he would make everybody laugh. And I would eat my lunch in the restroom many, many, many days. And it was just terrible. It was absolutely terrible. But I did get the best revenge because a few years after my swan phase, whatever, he moved away, and then he came back. and I was in high school, and he actually spit game at me. No, he didn't remember me, of course. No, because I had been wearing contacts by then, and I had grown a couple inches, and he like spit game at me, and I just looked at him and I said, you know what? No, I'm not interested. So I got the best revenge. I never said anything back to him. I was never good at like quips, or like I was never really like witty. Some people have like zingers right off the top, and I just never. I was just never that person. It would just would be like, you're a meanie, and that would be my comeback, and it would be like, and that would make them laugh at me even more. So I am highlighting these stories because looking back at them, they allowed me to build my resilience, to help me to not take things so seriously, to know the difference between when you should take something serious and when you shouldn't. So I created 10 steps, which I will link in the description, of building resilience. So here we go. Step number 1, you have to identify your triggers. Yeah, you do. For a long time, I would say for at least 10 years after I was laughed at by this bully, anytime I was around people who were laughing, I would get so self-conscious. My heart would start beating fast. Oh my God, are they laughing at me? Are they laughing at me? I would be so anxious around anybody who laughed, and I didn't know why they were laughing because of this bully who had laughed at me. So was that rational? Of course not, because like you never know what people are actually laughing at. But you really do have to identify your triggers. Are you sensitive about a certain thing? And that's okay. So it says, recognize the situations and people or events that trigger your emotions, that negative emotions, and make you feel vulnerable to hate or to criticize. So, there's one thing to know what your triggers are, which you can both laugh at. And, we have this interaction with family and with friends and people we care about all the time. We kind of like zing on each other. But at a certain point, someone crosses the line, unbeknownst maybe to the other person. So you really have to understand, okay, what is my line? What is my deal breaker? Because if this line is crossed, okay, we have crossed into new territory. We are in deeper waters now, and I need to assess that situation going forward. So identify your triggers. Number 2, develop emotional awareness. This is such a key for me. Emotional awareness, emotional intelligence. I have to catch myself. Even to this day, I was taking a walk a few weeks ago, and I was like la-di-da, walking down the street, having a great time, and I met eyes with a woman who was driving in her car who just so happened to be laughing. And I literally said out loud, something funny? And I had to catch myself. Like, you don't know why she's laughing. She could be listening to something on the radio. She could be reminiscing about something that happened in her day. Like, what? Check yourself. Have emotional maturity, emotional awareness to really put things in perspective so that you don't just fly off the handle and then now you're chasing somebody down and getting into a fight like these fools do, when they're doing road rage. It's like, really? Now you going to jail? Cool. So develop emotional awareness. Step number 3, practice self-care. Another one. These are such cliches now. It's so it breaks my heart how we have, manipulated these ideas into, oh my gosh, self-care. I'm gonna give myself a bubble bath, and I'm gonna have a glass of wine, and I'm gonna light some candles, and I don't know why I'm talking like this, but those things are important, okay? They really are important. If you feel better at the end of your day to give yourself a little reward, and part of your self-care practice is to have a bubble bath, have a bubble bath. Part of your self-care practice is to have a glass of red wine. Please enjoy that. But do it mindfully. Do it with the intention of pouring into yourself, not with a goal, not with an expectation. Do it for the pure joy of the moment. Be present. Take care of your physical, emotional, mental well-being by engaging in activities that nourish your mind, body, and soul. So some people, it's working out. I am a firm believer in if you are doing deep spiritual work, if you are mining emotions and cultivating a more conscious life, it is imperative that you combine that with some kind of physical activity. That energy needs to get out of you. That energy needs to get away from you, because what I learned from being a massage therapist was we hold on to emotions for years and years and years, and they turn into illness, they turn into high blood pressure, they turn into all kinds of things in our body because we are not releasing that energy. So do something that cultivates that self-care, that physical movement. You know, during the pandemic, I started jumping rope, and it's been great for me because now I see all of these wonderful women doctors saying how wonderful jumping rope is for your bones. And I'm in my 40s. I got to take care of this little bony body of mine. Number 4, build a support network. So surround yourself with people who are positive, supportive, and encourage and uplift you. So this can be a little challenging because I don't know about you, but I don't participate in the same friend group as I did from high school, from college. We just live different lives. So cultivating a support group could be listening to a certain podcast, could be going to a certain meetup, could be, there are these wonderful bike clubs in a lot of cities, and literally all they do, they meet in a particular location. Everybody brings their bike, and it's just like hundreds of people that cycle together. You don't have to talk to anybody. That's what I do. I don't want to talk to anybody when I'm riding my bike. I just want to ride and enjoy the scenery, but participate in some kind of support network, some kind of community, because really it's not just enough to tell yourself that you are not alone. You have to physically be able to see it and have it be a demonstration in front of you. So when someone asks you how you're doing, maybe tell them and see what door that could open for you. Number 5, reframe negative thoughts. Challenge negative self-talk and refrain from critical thoughts into constructive, empowering ones. This one's pretty challenging because we don't even realize how much of a negative loop that we are caught in our minds. It's like that monkey that it's just going on and on and on and on and on and on. And it takes a great deal of effort at the beginning to stop that, to recognize it, to stop it, and then turn it the other direction. I always tell my partner, I said, it's like the Titanic. You can't just slam on the brakes and turn it around. That was not going to work. It's not going to work with a train. It wasn't going to work with a ship. First, you have to recognize you're going in the wrong direction. Then you have to slow the pace of that train. You got to slow it down. Once you have reached a speed to which you can safely turn, then you start turning. It is a process. So what I would recommend, become more aware of the way that you speak to yourself. Anytime you say anything to yourself, positive or negative, write it down, put it in your phone. And at the end of the day, just look at it. Wow. And reflect. Would I talk to a 5-year-old like this? Would I talk to my 5-year-old nephew the way that I'm talking to myself? Because there is nothing more intimate than the way that we talk to ourselves. Number 6, focus on what you can control. Oh, goodness. We are so addicted to this C word. We are addicted to control. We all want to control somebody, something. We all want to control what he's doing, what she said. Oh my goodness. Can you believe that what she did to me? And what? Mind your business. Mind your business. If you can't, or you are not willing to do anything about a person or a circumstance or a situation, that is not your business. It ain't your business. Get out of other people's business, because the more time you spend in other people's business, where are you not? You are not in your own business. It's not going to work. Okay? Focus on what you can control. What can you control? How I talk to myself. I can control that. What can I control? What I eat. I can control that. What can I control? How much sleep I get. I can control that. What can I control? How much water I drink. I can control that. I can control how many vegetables I eat. I can control whether I choose to comment on somebody's page. There are so many things that we have control over. Get out of other people's business. Please do it. Number 7, develop problem-solving skills. You know, there's a wonderful, wonderful movie. And again, this entire list, this step-by-step and further in depth, will be in the description box in my bio. There's a wonderful movie called The Whackness, and I can't remember the name of the gentleman. His name is like Drake something. It was before my time. He was in a really popular Nickelodeon show. But anyway, there's this good movie from like the mid 2000s called The Whackness. And in a scene where the two main characters were sitting on the beach and they're just kind of like looking out into the ocean, having a deep moment. And the younger character says to the older character, he says, there are enough assholes in the world. Don't be another one. Don't be another one. People who are solving problems, they might be assholes, but at least they're attempting to do something about it. At least they're attempting to solve a problem, right? So think about an issue, but not just about how you can solve the issue, but how can you solve an issue with the certainty or with the likelihood that as many people will benefit from that outcome as possible. So develop problem-solving skills. Number 8, practice mindfulness and meditation. Another one that has become cliche, meditation, mindfulness. Meditation is, guess what? I just meditated. I just did it. That's it. That's it. That's literally it. Anything that you do that brings you into the present moment is meditation. Meditation is not a doing. It is a being. You are being meditative. I am walking meditatively. I am talking meditatively. I am cooking. This is a cooking meditation. I am being these things. I am inhabiting this presence. And it helps. Again, your mind, it's a muscle. You got to work it. If it doesn't work, if you're not working it, gravity is going to just bring it down. And it is our job to raise our consciousness with sit-ups, I guess, to combat gravity. Everybody's trying to look younger. If you're not working on lifting up this muscle, it's just coming down. Practice meditation. Number 9, celebrate your strengths. We all have them. We all have strengths. We all have a story to tell. If we all have a story to tell, that means we have overcome something, which means we have something to teach someone else. Celebrate that. Celebrate your wins. That's okay. Nobody is going to root for you more than you root for yourself. Nobody is going to be more proud of you than you are going to be of yourself. Celebrate yourself. Again, that comes back to self-care. If your form of celebration means, taking yourself out to dinner, reading a good book, who knows? There are copious things, but celebrate those wins. Pat yourself on the back. We are too hard on ourselves. I always, imagine what would this look like if I was demonstrating this behavior to my 5-year-old niece? Would that be okay? 9 times out of 10, it would not be. 9 times out of 10, I would give him a hug and I would say, it's okay. I love you. We're going to try again. Celebrate your strengths. Number 10, learn from your setbacks. Let me tell you something about being an adult, about being grown. Failure and rejection, make really good friends with them. Because when you're on this journey of spiritual awakening, we are going to have many, many failures, many, many rejections. The most important rejection and failure we are going to experience is the one that we express upon ourselves. That's what makes people feel like they're stuck. It's because you take 3 steps in a direction of awakening, and you experience the failure, or you experience the rejection in your own mind of yourself, like, why don't I have this down? Why is this so hard? And then guess what? You go back those steps, and then you go forward, and then you go back, and then you go forward, and then you go back, and there's no real progression. Allow yourself to make mistakes, because you know why? It teaches other people that it's okay to make mistakes. When you're okay with making mistakes, you're demonstrating to other people. Most importantly, you are demonstrating to children that it is okay to make mistakes. We are still human. We are still capable. We are still worthy. We are still valuable. We still have many skills and things to impart on other people. Learn from them. I tell people all the time, I'm not smart, I'm not special. I'm just trying not to make the same mistakes. That's it. I'm just really aware of when I make a mistake, and I do my best to learn from them and try not to make them again. That's it. That's it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Please check out the Stand Store, link in my description. All the information that you need will be there. Send me an email if you want to hang out, if you have a question, if you want me to go further into something, reach out. Thank you so much. Enjoy your night.